Welcome to the Shamrock Sports Talk Show with your hosts, Igor from Serbia, Europe, and Andy Vernon from Concord, New Hampshire. We are about pride, tradition, sweat, tears, victory, and determination of Boston sports. Give us a ring at 512-543-4662. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Now, let's get into the Shamrock Sports Talk Show. Hello, and thank you for tuning into the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC, where you can find the best in sports talk television and radio shows. Mondays, check out the Just Us Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your hosts, Kevin L. Dixon and Dana Clark. Then Tuesday, we have the Stars Talking Cowboys Sports Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki. And on Wednesday, tune in for the Out the Block Sports Talk Show from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with hosts Robert Lewis, Donna Hainsworth, and Brett Shields. Then meet up with us on Saturday for the Enhanced Sports Talk Show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern with hosts Lou Tenor and Steve Davidson. We also have the DMV Sports Talk Show from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern with your host Razul McGee. As well, we have the Shamrock Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern with Igor and Andy Vernon. Finally, rounding out the week, we have on Sunday, That's Not How We See It Sports Talk Show from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern with your host, Alfred Wallace, Tony Wallace, and Harold Robinson III. These shows come to you by way of the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network, LLC, where you can find the best. That's right.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. I heard you for a minute there. No, I can't hear you, Igor.
With something different.
Well, I just heard you when you said I did something different, but now I can't hear you again. Something different, but now I can't hear you again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. There's an
Uh,
echo though.
okay. I mean, I changed the cell phone for some reason. This cell phone is not working. Okay, so welcome again. The main subject will be Jaylen Brown contract extension talks, continuation of Jaylen Brown contract extension talk. We will just comment a little about the picture. We will expand the subject a little later. So Jaylen Brown has returned to Boston from his NBA Player Association retreat in Spain. The Celtics and Brown will re-engage on contract talks next week per Globe Washburn. Brown is eligible for 5 years, 295 million maximum contract, which is maximum contract in the NBA thus far ever. I mean, you heard Andy that uh, the the problem is that Boston Celtics are not willing to give the player option in fifth year. Boston Celtics they want to control totally the contract after the fourth year or after the third year. Is that correct? And in your opinion, is that normal to you that this kind of important contract negotiations are taking so long to be finished and to be stuck around 1 year?
Yeah, Igor. So what I've been hearing in like the local media and whatnot is that the contract negotiations for Jaylen Brown are really being held up by two factors. The first is obviously the amount of money. This would be the largest contract ever given to an NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other major holdup I've heard is that the Celtics don't want to give Jaylen Brown a fifth-year player option. They want to, in
Mm-hmm.
other words, they want to control the contract, like you were saying. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that's particularly normal. And
Mm-hmm.
like the amount on the contract that might be negotiable for Brown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge contract. They might be able to phrase it to him in the in the context of hey, we can't pay you 295 million over 5 years and still build a strong team around you. What about like 270 or 250 million? And Jaylen Brown
Mm-hmm.
might go for that. if you phrase it in the context of like this is the type of cap flexibility that we need to build a winning team. The problem is he's probably going to stand firm on the 5th-year player option because there's no reason for him really not to. In this day and age with NBA players, they want to have more and more control over their future, which I think is perfectly understandable. And that's the big holdup. It makes no sense to me whatsoever because give the man his 5th-year player option. 5 years. I mean, you know this. 5 years in terms of the NBA, 5 years in the NBA is basically like an eternity. It's like 10 to 20 years in the regular world because of how much the league changes year to year. So, getting hung up over a star player wanting to control his future, in the distant years is really should be like a non-issue for the team.
I mean, two thoughts. First of all, I don't know why the 5th year is important because the player can ask for the trade like in year 2 of the contract. And what are you going to do? To keep disgruntled player, sitting here while you're paying him money? No, you must trade him. So, I mean, give the man the contract and about amount of money, 295 millions. I'm afraid that, again, the Celtics will try to lowball Jaylen Brown somehow. But I think that he will agree that this sum of money, 295 millions, is not guaranteed. But for example, 250 millions are guaranteed, and the rest of 45 millions are bonuses. For example, conditions are if you play 65 millions, if you are all NBA player each year, you're getting bonus. If you are MVP of the league, you're getting bonus. If you are, I don't know, defensive player of the year, you're getting bonus, whatever. So I think that those kind of bonuses will be included in the contract. And I think that the Celtics can make those conditions by saying that he made once all NBA team, but he's not an all-star team, but he's not still is not perennial all-star player and especially perennial all-NBA player. So these kind of factors can be negotiable. I mean, but if he wants the 5th year, give the man 5th year. And listen, I'm not Jaylen Brown fan, but I'm a realistic Celtics fan. We are good team, contender. One final, one Eastern Conference Finals in the last 2 years. 4 or 5 Eastern Conference Finals in the last 6 years because of Jaylen Brown number 2 and because of Jason Tatum number 1, or put the numbers whatever order you wish. So I mean, do I think that he's worth this kind of money? No. Do I think that he's going to get it, considering NBA rules, the structure of the CBA, and the nature of the contracts between NBA Player Association and NBA? Yes, I do. I think that he will get the full max. And I heard some date, the 1st August, and I really, really hope that this crap about Jaylen Brown will be over. Until then, the positive way that he will sign an extension. Otherwise, I cannot think about negative consequences for the team, because you don't want your second star or one of the top 2 stars to be disgruntled, unsatisfied, and you don't want this kind of uncertainty. Jason Tatum will come to contract maximum extension the next summer, 2024. You just extended the 3rd star, Kristaps Porzingis. And there is absolutely no reason in the world why you do not extend Jaylen Brown, who is, again, important part of the team. No Jaylen Brown, no banner 18. Simple as that. Any more thoughts before I skip to another subject? Then we will return to Jaylen Brown with an article.
Yeah, so like the thing with Jaylen Brown, the fifth year option, the reason that matters is because it would allow him to go into free agency. At that point, under the new CBA, Jaylen Brown would have more than 10 years in the NBA, so he'd be eligible to sign a new contract for 35% of whatever team he signs with cap. So that's why you would probably want to get the fifth year player option because ultimately, long run, it would mean more money for him, probably. But like you said, like I don't see any way that we don't re-sign Jaylen Brown. If we weren't going to pay the man, it's not like we didn't know what he was going to be asking for. We knew. And if we didn't want to pay him that, then we should have traded him for as much value as we could have, and done a sign and trade with another team. So definitely he needs to be re-signed.
Long time ago, and if you didn't trade Jaylen Brown until now, like we didn't, there is no reason why you're not paying this man. Here is comparison with Devin Booker. The Suns are one of the favorites at the West, not favorites at the West. Denver is the favorites at the West, in my books at least. Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker comparison to the season. Devin Booker a little more productive, 27.8 points, 26.6, not big difference. Rebounds per game, Brown better, 6.9, Booker 4.5, assists per game, Booker better, 5.5, Brown 3.5. This is the area where Jaylen Brown can improve. Steals per game, almost 1. Block per game, 0.4, 0.3. Field goal percent, 49.1. Brown, 49.4. A little better. Booker, 3-point percent. Booker better, 35.1%. Brown, 33.5%. And free throws you cannot see from Chiron, but Booker is 85.5, Jaylen Brown 76.5. What you can see from these numbers, areas where he can improve: ball handling, assisting, 3-point shooting, and especially free throws. I really don't want to see 70% free throws. I want to see 80 or 90% in the next years. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I think the 3-point percentage might be just a little bit of an abnormality for Brown. Both him and Tatum had a kind of down year shooting, especially in the early season. Yeah, I think some of that might have been just getting used to Mazzulla's offense. So I kind of expect the 3-point percentage to go back up and closer to 35-ish, which is kind of where he's at career-wise. But the free throw thing is definitely concerning. Brown's a pretty good, he's good at driving into the paint and he gets contact. So he really needs to be like an 85% free throw shooter at a minimum to really capitalize on all those fouls that he draws. And there's no real reason that he shouldn't be there. It's just an area that he has to work on. And honestly, the free throws, that's the biggest thing I think he needs to improve on. And
absolutely.
It would really bring another level to his game. It might only be 1 or 2 points a game, but like you can see from this graph here, if he gets makes 1 or 2 more free throws a game, he's scoring more points per game than Devin Booker is.
Absolutely. So that's it. Lastly, the picture before I skip to salary cap talk. We will return a little to Brown in the next part of year. I don't know. Okay. So this trio, Porzingis extended, Brown we're waiting to be extended, Tatum 2024. We want these guys, if we want to chase banner 18 to be as long as possible, and we want the supporting cast to be as the best possible around these guys. Okay, now salary cap talk. I have some pictures that I prepared, or I tried to prepare. I don't know how much of these you can see. Maybe even I lost one picture, but never mind, I will read it. So this will be like Chiron. Okay, so Kristaps Porzingis 36 millions, Jason Tatum 32.6 millions, Again, Tatum will be extended. Jaylen Brown, 30.7 millions will be extended, we hope. Malcolm Brogdon, 22.5 millions. By the way, apparently right now the Celtics do not want to trade Malcolm Brogdon. As we said, Andy, there is absolutely no reason on the world right now why the Celtics should trade Malcolm Brogdon. Only idiotic bloggers can put Malcolm Brogdon in the trade machine in this constellation and this kind of roster. Derek White, 18.1 million. Robert Williams, 11.8 millions. Al Horford, 10 millions. Peyton Pritchard, 4 millions. By the way, Peyton Pritchard will be part of USA national team, but I have the news for later. Luke Cornett, 2.4 millions, non-guaranteed. Oshie Brissett, new player, 2.2 millions. Delano Banton, 2 millions, partially guaranteed. Sam Hussier, 1.9 million. Justin Champagne, 1.9 millions, non-guaranteed. Okay, time to change my picture. So, Oshie Brissett, 2.2 millions. Delano Banton, is the picture changing? Yeah. Okay. So let me just try to. Delano Banton, 2 millions. Oshie Brissett, 2.2 millions. Sam Hussier, 1.9 millions. Justin Champagne, 1.9 millions. Jordan Walsh signed 1.1 millions. JD Davison and Jay Scrub, two-way contracts. Open roster spots for 15-man roster 1 and open two-way roster slots 1. Trying to change the picture and to see. Okay, totally guaranteed salary 172.3 millions to 12 players. Salary cap for 2023-24 is 136 millions. Luxury tax threshold is 165.2 millions. So we are luxury tax team. The first apron is 172.3 millions. We are standing in the first apron, but we are below the second apron, and the second apron is 182.7 millions, which means that we are 10.4 millions below the second apron. Analysis. The first intriguing decision the Celtics have to make soon is the future of Justin Champagne, who had mediocre summer league last week. He was late season signing last year with Boston's open regular spot at very end of regular season, so he hasn't played meaningful minutes. Justin Champagne is partially guaranteed on his deal, begin to kick in the 1st August with 50,000 guaranteed money and 350,000 up to 350,000 guaranteed money on opening night. So we could waive him August 1st. With luxury tax penalties, these guarantees are far more costly to the Boston books that those totals indicate. Champagne could compete for roster spot in the camp with just the $500,000 guaranteed, but it sounds like the Celtics have bigger goals for the wing spot based on the Stevens comments. Stevens said, I think we will try to add a little bit. I would like to add a little more depth, maybe on the wing, and then also maybe 4-3 type. I feel pretty good about our bigs. We've got a couple of two-ways, so we got one two-way contracts. We are still very much looking for it. The Celtics don't have many options to add in the free agency beyond giving out more veteran minimum deals. Like I said, 10.4 millions below the second apron. They would need to cut salaries elsewhere in the trade to gain access to the taxpayer mid-level exception, 5 millions under the second apron. So they would need to cut salary elsewhere in the trade to gain access to the taxpayer mid-level exception, 5 millions under the second apron. So cheap deals are probably what's left on them to spend. Boston did add 6.2 million trade exception with Grant Williams sign and trade could be helpful in the minor move. Whether they want to use that or keep it is a tool to the trade deadline remains to be seen. If Boston wants to do something bigger, they will likely need to use sizable salary with Malcolm Brogdon being candidate to be moved because his trade to the Clippers was uh, last month negotiated. Stevens also has one open two-way slot to fill in, likely to add a big for added depth. Boston has ability to have 21 players on their roster entering training camp. So with just 16 signed right now, still a lot of possibilities left. We can sign 5 players, one two-way player. Keep an eye out at least 2 more signings or trade additions to the 15-man roster, alongside with two-way deals to be added in the coming weeks. Um, so, Andy, a lot of possibilities for the open roster spots, a lot of possibilities, a lot of open spots, but not too much to give because only veteran minimums contracts are eligible because we cannot use the taxpayer mid-level exceptions. We need to cut salaries elsewhere in the train to gain access to the taxpayer mid-level exception under the second apron. Your comments on this payroll?
Well, like you said, I think we're pretty much restricted in how we can sign free agents. So anything that we acquired, meaningful pieces, would have to come via a trade. My understanding of the second apron is that we could make a trade that would take us significantly over, but we can't sign free agents. So basically, a move we would do would have to involve a trade. Um, I don't see it happening. I think it needs to happen because when I look at this roster, on paper, it's a very good roster, and on paper, the Tatum, Brown, Porzingis trio is the best in the East, arguably one of the best in the NBA. That's assuming everybody stays healthy. That's a big assumption, given that we have Malcolm Brogdon and we have Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, Robert Williams. Um, we're in a position, especially at point guard, where we are very, very thin. Because if Malcolm Brogdon, I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I have to say Brogdon almost has to start this season because he's the only point guard we have that's really a viable playmaker.
And he is taller than Derek White. Derek White, in my opinion, had a better season, but he's a little taller and a little slightly better defender than Derek White. Maybe that is giving him advantage. But on the other side,
more important is his playmaking ability. Derek White's not a
playmaking ability.
He's a combo guard and scorer. Malcolm Brogdon can function as a playmaker. I think in his first season with Indiana, in the first season with Indiana, Malcolm Brogdon had something like a 33% assist rating, which is incredibly high. He's a very high IQ player. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about him personally. Personally, I believe he holds a master's degree. Like, he's a very, very intelligent guy, and that high level IQ is something that helps him as a playmaker. The problem is, I don't think he has the durability to play a full season as a starting point guard and do a deep playoff.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say because I think that the last year 65 games. I read his resume in the last show. 65 games played the last year was the longest. I mean, the highest amount of regular season games played the last 6 years since Milwaukee, if I'm correct.
Rookie season. That's the most games he's played since his rookie year.
So he's very, very injury prone.
Yeah, and so therein lies the problem. When Malcolm Brogdon is healthy, he is I would argue he's a borderline all-star point guard. He's in the all-star conversation because he's a guy who can score 20 points a game and dish out 7-8 assists. He's a very good player. The problem has always been his health.
his health.
And that's the issue. And if he goes down, what does Boston have left as a point guard, as a playmaker? We don't really have anything.
I mean, how would you rate the Celtics off-season moves thus far? Again, you have the ratings that I will allow you to give them, Andy. I will just say this one. I love the moves, except Grant Williams' move because I expected the point guard out of this deal in return. But that's just me. I forgot that our ownership is cheap, sadly. Um, I mean, I didn't like Grant Williams being gifted for nothing. Bag of chips, second round picks, exchange of the second round picks, potatoes and something. I really didn't like it. But other moves, I like it. Jordan Walsh playing like an first round pick. Kristaps Porzingis has been, because we're going to embrace Joe Mazzulla ball on the offense. Then you realize why we traded for Porzingis, because he does make sense. I don't know about Banton and Oshie Brissett. I think from Oklahoma, our ex-player, I forgot who was, said that Oshie Brissett is kind of a little reminder of Jay Crowder, strong player who is hustle player, good defender, and I really hope that this is the case. We will see about it. Jordan Walsh, I really want to see him to contribute to get regular season minutes because I think the kid is ready. And I read some interview with his trainer, and he's making progress with his shooting. He's training his shooting mechanics and improving, and he has the good working ethic. So I really love our pick. Jordan Walsh. He could be a rotational player, and I really want him to play. But we are an unfinished product, we need at least three good players, including point guard, the wing, and 4-3. I mean, 4-5 to say. Wing number 3 and 4-5 guy and playmaker or the scorer, whatever is available. And I have the list of the players available. Your opinion?
Yeah, so I mean, I think when I look at the Celtics, I would say the one thing is I really like the moves they made on the coaching staff. I think they really rebuilt the coaching staff.
Definitely.
Well, gave Mazzulla a lot more depth, and that's something that Celtics media hasn't been talking enough about, is that we really shored up the coaching staff, which was a big weakness for us last year in the playoffs. Then I would say Porzingis, I think you have to put the Porzingis signing by itself. It sucks losing Marcus Smart, but I still think this is, it's like I think solid B+ move. The reason I wouldn't give it an A is because on paper it's an A move because like you had Kristaps Porzingis, he's great. It's a great trio on paper. I have some major questions about Porzingis' health, and I have some major questions about how he's going to fit with Jaylen and Jason and not having a point guard to tie everything together. So that's why I'm saying that's more of a B+ move. I would say for our role players, we're more like a D. I really don't like letting Grant Williams walk for nothing. I think the hope is that O'Shea Brissett can kind of step into that role, but I'm not convinced that that's the case. If he can, that's going to be a really good signing and a really good contract, but I just haven't seen enough to convince me of it. And I think letting a guy like Grant Williams go, once again, 3D, versatile wing, shooting 38% from beyond the arc, and we let him go for like a couple second round picks, like that just makes no sense to me.
And the right to change the third pick potentially second round.
Yeah.
The right to change the right to change the third round pick.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
that was an
Again,
awful trade. They
mm,
should have at least demanded that Dallas trade them some real Tex-Mex food from down south near the border. At least gotten something worthwhile out of the trade. Uh, um,
yeah, but
I
listen, uh-huh,
with the
say.
deep bench, I actually like our deep bench. I think guys like Brissett, Jordan Walsh, I think they're really good deep bench guys who have the potential to develop into something else. So I think overall it's been a good off season, but I still feel like we're very much missing, like you said, key pieces. For me, the key piece that we are missing right now is a point guard. That's the number one thing. It jumps right out at you when you look at the roster. We do not have a playmaker floor general on that roster anywhere. And I feel like with three scoring stars, you cannot have a cohesive championship team without a playmaker who's going to tie those three scoring stars together. I just feel like it's not going to work.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to say I'm searching something made me laugh, not Celtics wise. I mean, did you remember Nikola Mirotic from the Bulls?
Yeah.
He is in Europe, and he is having some kind of LeBron James signing saga. So apparently he will go to Panathinaikos, if I'm correct. And speaking of the Europe, so finally this kind of saga is mercifully over in the EuroLeague, but that is not important right now. Why I'm mentioning the EuroLeague? Because I don't know if I prepared the picture. I think I did. One of our familiar faces signed with AC Monaco, and this is Mr. Kemba Walker. Bienvenue to Monaco. So this is rise and fall of Mr. Kemba Walker. Good luck to him, by the way. I'm wishing him all the best. Mr. Kemba Walker is having a job again. This is good for him, right? Let me just post couple of and remove Kemba Walker, by the way, because we presented what we wanted to present. So Kemba Walker, ex-Celtics player, is the member of Monaco EuroLeague team, and if I'm correct, not my best of knowledge, the EuroLeague. Anyway, before going to this, we mentioned the free agents. We mentioned what the Celtics can use. The Celtics can use veteran minimum contracts. I posted I posted so I posted best available free agents: Kendrick Nunn, point guards Kendrick Nunn, Ish Smith, and of course John Wall, our guy, is available. Shooting guards, Noel, Diallo, Will Barton, Terence Davis, Javonte Green, Austin Rivers, Romeo Langford. Small forwards: Kelly Oubre Jr., Terence Ross, James Toscano Anderson, Anthony Lamb. Power forwards: PJ Washington, Jeff Green, Damian Jones Jr., Vincent Gabriel. Centers: Christian Wood, Bismarck Biombo, Blake Griffin. So it is not like we don't have the options. Listen, I would sign a couple of players for these for from this lineup. For example, I would sign Kelly Oubre Jr. Maybe Toscano Anderson, Terence Ross if he is not available. PJ Washington. I don't know if he will accept minimum. He will not. But Jeff Green. Jeff Green is signed somewhere. Did I hear something? I don't think this is accurate. But Christian Wood is available. Bismarck Biombo ahead of Blake Griffin. So I heard that we are apparently interested in Austin Rivers and working him out alongside John Wall. But again, these players are available. So I really wish that we sign somebody from there. What do you say?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know who's still available in in the free agent class. Is Theo Maladon still available?
Who?
Theo Maladon?
I must check. He's not. He's not on this roster. So I think that. He's not. If he's not on this list, but I must check. You know. Theo Mango. Maybe he's signed with somebody. I'm really not familiar. But what I heard that we worked out Austin Rivers. What I heard that apparently we would like to sign some big 3-4 and again Kelly Oubre Jr. for me is the best possible. I mean, the best possible uh, option at 3-4. PJ Washington you love and Christian Wood elite name at the center. I don't know if he will accept our offer for veteran minimum. Maybe taxpayer mid-level exception. He potentially maybe will, but I really doubt in it. But if we could add PJ Washington on Christian Wood, that would be really awesome. Don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think we will. I'm not a big Christian Wood fan, to be honest. I don't know. I felt like, of course, that guess is also the worry I have with Porzingis is he just did like you put him. He was another one played on a team with Luka and just couldn't really capitalize. Now maybe Luka's the problem here. Or maybe it's how the Dallas offense is designed, but it kind of concerning. I like PJ Washington a lot, but he's a younger, not young, but younger player, so I don't think he's going to take a mid-level, a veteran's mid-level, or veterans minimum. I mean, like that's just probably not going to happen. I mean, like if I was Boston, honestly, I would consider trying to like contract somebody like Robert Williams to free up money to sign somebody like PJ Washington or Kelly Oubre, a guy like that. And once again, like I'm not saying that PJ Washington or Kelly Oubre is a better player than Robert Williams. But what I'm saying is you can rely on them to play more games and to be available more. And, we always say here at this show, availability is probably the most important statistic. And at some point in time, watch, maybe Todd Lord will prove me wrong and have his first completely healthy season and postseason run this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to eat my words. But, the fact is we have years of evidence that he cannot make it through a season, let alone into the postseason and be healthy.
Yeah.
And for a team, we're trying to win a championship, which means we need a roster that's going to be healthy in the championship. And so at some point in time, we need to make the moves to get rid of the people that can't be healthy when we need them and to bring in people who can be, because I'd rather have somebody who has half the talent, but he could actually play in the game, as opposed to somebody who's more talented but sitting on the bench injured in the big games of the postseason.
Well, the Celtics, I suppose, are just waiting Robert Williams to miraculously play, 80 games regular season, the whole playoffs, and contribute.
Yeah, that happens on buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah, of course. Some more statistics in the news. Interesting one, I found it. Jason Tatum drives to the basket over years. So you will notice 2018, 5.7 drives. and the percentage of success. 2019 5.6, 2028 10.8, 46%, 2021 12.4 drives, 2022 fall off 11.4, but percentage up 48.8. Now the last season 11.2 drives. So I want him to return to the 2021 year to be 13 drives to the basket. So his efficiency in improving every year, that is good. When he drives to the basket, he just needs to increase, number of drives
Well,
to
he's just not getting
return
the
to the.
looks. They're
Mhm.
spreading the looks more.
Yeah. So why this is important? Because we need him to be the best player to be more efficient, as much efficient as he can. He had the troubles in the past with his efficiency around the rim and with number of drives. So we want him to have as much drives as he can and free throws to drive the free throws. That way he will be efficient. I know that you uh, commented Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews on Milwaukee, from Milwaukee, ex-Milwaukee, agreed one-year deal with Atlanta Hawks. Matthews joins the Hawks after 2 seasons with Milwaukee Bucks. I would say good seasons with Milwaukee Bucks uh, for him. I think that he won the title. So yeah, that's the good for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously kind of your deep bench veteran. I think he's kind of a glue guy too. That's what I've heard is that he's a good locker room guy. So a good pickup for the Hawks. He's versatile, can do a little bit of everything. But at his age, he's just not going to play a big role.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 3 and D guy waiting for the corner, shooting the threes, playing defender for the Bucks. Even played lockdown defender at some point. Whatever. Boston Celtics guard Peyton Pritchard will be part of the USA selection team that will practice and scrimmage against the Team USA roster at Las Vegas training camp in August. Sources said ESPN. So this is honor and recognition for Peyton, and hopefully that uh, this is going to be positive signal for him to work more and to improve his game and to enter our rotations as a third or fourth guy, guard or whatever.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Peyton Pritchard's really hard because like on the one hand, I really like a lot of his skill set. I think he's the most versatile offensive guard that we have on the team outside of Brogdon, probably.
Hmm.
But he kind of, he does a lot of good things. He's arguably outside of Brogdon, probably the best playmaker amongst the point guards. The problem for me, I guess, is the defense, or just lack thereof. So I guess the question becomes like, can we actually play him more this year? Because he gets paid $4 million, and $4 million is a lot for a guy that accumulates a bunch of DNPs, right? So at some point in time, you have to say, hey, either we're going to trade this guy and try to get something in return, or we're going to play him because it doesn't make sense to have a guy warming up the bench for $4 million a year. I mean, like if you want to pay me $4 million, I'll take $2 million to go down to TD Garden and sit on the bench.
I would rather if they don't plan to use him, rather trade him for something usable or play Jordan Walsh. Listen, play Jordan
Yeah,
Walsh.
I mean, like, that's I guess what
Simple
you
as
get
that.
down to. And I've wondered if you'll get more time maybe with Missoula because Missoula's more offense oriented.
Yes, he
Maybe
is.
maybe that's something we see this season, and we rely on the offense to outshoot the opponent. That's not beyond the
Mm-hmm.
ball. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that Peyton Pritchard could be a. I'm not. He's not going to be a star player. I don't think. but he's a guy who could have a very nice home in the NBA, kind of playing a JJ Redick. I could almost see him as kind of like a JJ Redick type player, a guy that you
Yeah.
stick in there, he comes in, gives a spark, hits a couple threes. And I mean, like JJ Redick had a great career in the NBA. Yeah, I could see Peyton Pritchard kind of being the same way because let's face it, nobody expected JJ Redick to play defense.
Mm. Okay, one more information from then we will see the pictures, and then I have some kind of article about Jaylen Brown and extension. Tyrese Martin, 1.7 million with Atlanta Hawks, will become fully guaranteed if he is not waived today. Uh, I mean, the teams are making the small moves, you know. We're still waiting Boston Celtics. I think, according to Brad Stevens, that we will definitely make more moves and we will sign real NBA players, not some NBA players that are not proven. Okay, what is left from the picture book that I prepared? Uh, Jason Tatum. Celtics blog Harris Rubenstein. He said this team will make him better and help him see the floor even better. What do you say, Andy?
I mean, yeah, it should. Once again, that's kind of the big thing I'm looking for with Tatum is another jump in his playmaking.
Yeah, and to jump into MVP candidates chart, that's what we needed him to do. Number two picture left and prepared for the show. I don't want to disrespect Miami, but even if they get Dame, they were to face Milwaukee again. I'm picking Milwaukee. Me too. That's one of the rare subject where I could agree with Kendrick Perkins. What do you say?
Yeah, I'd agree. Assuming both teams are fully healthy, yeah, I'd take Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Joe Missoula. So we had an article that we didn't comment because I didn't think that's the most important subject. The Brown subject is more important. But at the end of the season, there were a lot of people who thought Joe Missoula was in some kind of level of trouble to the point where Brad Stevens needed to say at his press conference that Mazzulla is coming back. Not only was Mazzulla never in trouble, Brad Stevens' biggest moves as the president of the team has been to lean into more of the way Joe Mazzulla wants to play, which is high volume, 3-point shooting, and offense over defense. Brian Windhorst. So, Andy, you said that Joe Mazzulla is not in trouble, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think a lot of fans overreacted to how the season went. You got to remember, this is a guy, he wasn't even like a senior assistant in Boston before he became the head coach. He was like a mid-level assistant. And he kind of got parachuted into the head coach role. He had no time to establish his own identity and culture on the team. He didn't have time to, oversee the team. He got handed a team that was designed for somebody else. So the fact that he took them as far as he did, says that he was able to adjust pretty well. And I think what we're seeing now is the Celtics are letting Mazzulla get a team that better suits his coaching style. And because like every coach has strengths and weaknesses in certain areas. Like they just have certain plays that they run better, certain schemes they design better. Like for me, when I coach football, I was much more of like a slot receiver, tight end, running back coach. I didn't do well with deep plays down the field. I like my bread and butter. The best schemes I designed were like short slant plays and things like that. And so every coach has their strengths and weaknesses. Nobody can be good at everything. And so I think it's really promising that the Celtics are trying to embrace Mazzulla's strengths more. I think that will let him be more comfortable and be a lot more effective with this team.
I mean, when we gave Brad Stevens 5 years, I mean, in the past, we let Rick Pitino to run the team more than 1 year, ML Carr, I'm not sure, was 1 year or something. But if that is the case, I mean, why not giving Joe Mazzulla? He's not worse than those guys that I'm mentioning. On the contrary, Grant Williams gave interview for Dallas papers, I think, or Boston papers.
No, it was for JJ Redick's podcast, I think.
JJ Redick podcast. This is the quote. That's why I think this past year's team had a little bit less connectivity on the defensive side of the ball because it wasn't necessarily the priority or emphasis, while a year prior to that it has been the defense priority. That is not knock or anything saying like that. Well, we had different coaches, different style of coaching styles, right? And that's Missoula compared to Ime Udoka. So I mean, this is what you was talking about. Again, I really want to see this team because this team is selected to be more Missoula style, and we are waiting to see what is going on the next year. Like I said, Jaylen Brown will return. The Celtics and Brown will re-engage in the talks. We comment about this. We will return to this in a while. In a second, we will cross the time, whatever, on the TV. Al Horford is 16th man in the 16th year in the NBA. Al Horford, one of the best big man defenders of the generations. In 2023 playoffs, Al Horford had the most field goal attempts against him of isolation of any players in the playoffs. He locked down opponents to 16 of 53 or 29% field goals to those possessions of isolations, and only fouled 6% of the time. So Al Horford is the best big man, one of the best big man defenders in the last playoffs. Why I separated this? Why I think it's important? Because Al Horford is one of our top three big men still, and we will rely on him. Maybe this time from the bench, or maybe he will start, whatever. But the point is that Al Horford is capable of locking down the guys in his year 36, and if he can hold down the guys in isolation plays to 29% field goal, I think this is really important for our title chances, right?
Yeah, I mean, Horford's been amazing. And that contract, $10 million for Horford, may be like, honestly, that may be one of the best contracts in terms of value in the NBA right now.
It is, definitely.
I mean, $10 million for a guy who can shoot the three reliably as a big man. He can play power forward, play center. He can initiate from the post. He's a good passer. He's a good defender. I mean, yeah, $10 million is an absolute steal, in my opinion, even with his age and having to limit his playing time. The other thing is Horford's been fairly durable. Like, they've sat him a bunch, but most of that's rest and maintenance. Like, when they've needed him, they've been able to play him. Yeah, I think that's something that also needs to be considered as well. Like, he misses time, but it's strategically missed so that when Boston needs him, he's there.
And what is important, we have videos. We will see how this will go. The Time Lord, the man that we discussed previously, apparently is working on his mid-range jumper. I really do not want him to shoot the threes right away. I mean, step by step. My man, do not take too many threes, because I really do not want Time Lord to think that he's shooting hard. But I love what I see, that he's knocking down some mid-range jumpers. It will be great him to expand his game. I don't know if he can do it. Probably mid-range jumpers, yes. 3-point game, probably no. But it would be huge for the Celtics, right?
Yeah, I think it would help us quite a bit. But once again, I like the big issue for me with Robert Williams is nothing to do with his talent level. It's everything to do with his health.
Absolutely. Finally, what we're going to talk here is Jaylen Brown extension. Couple of questions and answers, and we will cross the time a little and finish. In general, Supermax extensions have happened fairly quickly. So, is it normal for Supermax extension to take this long? There is a Reddit post that has been passed around how long it took others, but it is lacking context. The initial batch looked a bit longer because the entire concept was new. There were also several that happened on weird timelines because those off seasons were on adjusted calendars due to COVID impacted seasons. I wouldn't go as far to say it's worrisome that the Celtics and the Brown are talking this long, but it is not normal. It's certainly abnormal. So it is not normal for the things to be taking this long, but it is not time to panic yet. And according to Keith Smith, it's unlikely that the negotiations are getting stuck or actually figure offers. Anything over 30% of the cap is an increase or what a maximum offer is. And it is more than Brown would earn elsewhere. So delay must be centered on finer details. There is an article on heavy.com. Steve Bulpett, the Celtics longtime writer, discussed on shared discussion with anonymous league executive, where the notion of potentially offer Brown multiple option years was floated. What if Boston offered him an opt-out after 3 years of extension and the team option after 4 years? That allows him to look whether market is good for him. Then, after the new media deals are done and streaming comes with Amazon and Apple and all those folks bidding to get it, the executive said to Bulpett. Personally, I've never heard maximum contract or supermax contract to have multiple options on the years of the deal. So this will be the first time. I don't think it will happen, but whatever. What do you think, Andy? Is it possible
I mean, I
that?
think it's possible, and
Mhm,
I'm not worried so much as I'm starting to get a little bit concerned.
mhm.
And it's not the delay; it's the rumors coming out of Boston that they're getting hung up over, like the fifth-year player options or last-year player options. They're getting hung up over the idea of a trade kicker for it feels to me like you were saying earlier. It feels kind of like we're trying to nickel and dime him.
Definitely.
But
Low
it
ball
also
him.
but it's also
Mhm.
impossible to tell as an outsider because a lot of it's going to be kind of the language around, like
Yeah.
what's the tone of the negotiation? Is it hostile or is it, like I'm going to Jaylen and saying, hey man, like what do you want? And then he comes back with what he wants. So you go to Wyke, hey Wyke, like is like what are we looking for? You know what I mean? Like so it kind of depends. Is it amicable? Is it hostile?
Definitely. So option years, Keith Smith. Option years, true options, non-guaranteed years, which are often reported as the team options but aren't, can only be on the final season of the contract. So option years on the final season of the contracts. That's true of the player options, early termination options. Those two are functionally the same thing for almost all intents and purposes. So, and the team options. The only exception is the first round rookie scale contracts. They include 2 team option years, but all other deals can only have an option on the final seasons. That's from Keith Smith. So look like giving Brown flexibility in the future in terms of early option isn't viable path forward. We are looking at the player option of the final year, like Andy said, fifth year. Besides that potential player option, Brown would be tied to the deal for the duration of the contract, which doesn't necessarily mean he would be tied to Boston just to clear that up. During the article by Adam Himmelsbach for Boston Globe, an executive suggested potentially sweating Brown's next contract by including no trade clause to the deal. There could be some discussions. There could be some discussions over incentives, including in this extension that are unlikely to be obtained, such as bonus for being named like league MVP. That's what I said also earlier. This executive told Himmelsbach, incentives like league MVP not likely to happen, but to one, uh, according to one according to one former NBA general manager, it's unlikely that the sides are hanging over those details at this point. The former executive suggested the holds up is most likely over the fifth year option and or potential no trade clause. The players need 8 years of service to be eligible for the no trade clause. Um, Players need 8 years of the service for no trade clause, and Brown has completed 7th year, so no trade clause can be included to the deal. But Brown's camp could negotiate a trade kicker worth 15% of his salary. A kicker is essentially a bonus paid to the player by his current team if he is traded. So also. Jaylen Brown is not eligible for no trade clause for 2 different reasons. The first reason is that to get no trade clause, you have to be 8 years at the team. Brown has 7 years of the service. 2023-24 season will be Brown's 8th season, but the players are not credited with a year of service until the season is completed. The second reason Brown can get no trade clause is that you can have on in an extension unless the previous contract also included one. As covered above, Brown isn't eligible for no trade clause yet, so he doesn't have one in the current contract. In this case of Bradley Beal deal, who famously has the only current negotiated no trade clause in the NBA, he signed an entirely new contract with Washington Wizards and not an extension. So it would appear that Brown's contract is unlikely to include some of the sweeteners that have been discussed in recent weeks. The most likely outcome, assuming Brown signs Supermax, is that the deal has the player option in the 5th year and ensures he becomes one of the best paid players in the NBA moving forward. Keith Smith also confirmed that the trade kicker is a legitimate possibility and likely on that. If that is not enough to get Brown to sign a contract, that I don't know what it is. This is detailed confirmation. So, Andy, to conclude, Brown cannot have no trade clause in his deal. Brown could have a player option in the 5th year, and this is probably stacking point like you revealed. And compensation for no trade clause could be the trade kicker, 15% of the trade kicker if he is traded by the Celtics. For example, Brown is traded to Atlanta. let's say for the test. Do not jump on me, Celtics fans. In this case, Boston Celtics are paying, if Brown possesses trade kicker in his contract, so 15% of the salary of the deal. Boston would be committed to pay 15% of the deal. So no trade clauses, no. Fifth year player option, yes, if the deal is done, because he would like to have more money then. Negotiate another deal with the Celtics after 4 years, because the new deal for the TV rights will be up until then. As we heard, some new sponsorship contracts like Apple, etc., would be signed. So new TV rights deal will be up, and Brown would like to negotiate another contract, possibly with the Celtics Supermax contract after year number 4, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think will happen. I think that's something he wants to be able to do. He's a smart guy. He knows, he knows he's on the Players Association, so he knows how this works. So that's what I think he wants to be able to renegotiate the contract when the salary cap's likely to jump up again. I've also wondered if the trade kicker, that's also a sticking point, because let's face it, Brown's been with this team for a while. He's watched a lot of people get traded off very suddenly. So if I'm Jaylen Brown and I want some certainty in my future, right? I'm
Right.
going to want to put something in there that at least makes the team think twice about trading me, at the drop of a hat. And I feel like, we give it to him. I feel like we give him the trade kicker because, at some point in time, Boston Celtics, you've done this to yourself with all these sudden trades and the way that some of them have been conducted, like the Marcus Smart trade. And once again, I think Porzingis makes them a better team on paper. There's no debating that. But like you trade the longest tenured guy in the team, and nobody from the team called him to let him know.
Mhm.
And once again, these are the small things with this team and its management. I don't blame Jaylen Brown for wanting some sort of insurance, so if he gets traded out of the blue, he at least gets something in return. You know what I mean? Like, at some point in
Mhm.
time, Celtics, you're doing this to yourself because you've had awful personnel management. And at some point in time, like any corporation, if you're a corporation or a company and you have a reputation for treating your employees badly, well, they're going to want compensation somewhere else.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. Again, about totally agree with you. I think personally that Supermax will be there. There will
Yeah,
be incentives. I think that 295 millions 5 years would not be guaranteed.
I don't think
This
so either.
would be like 295 millions with bonuses, and bonuses will include like 65 plays, 65 games played in the regular season,
Mm-hmm.
10 more games played in the playoffs, all NBA team candidate bonus, MVP of the league candidate bonus, all defensive team, uh, all member of the all NBA defensive teams. Then he's getting some bonuses to 5 millions.
Yeah,
And
agree with
when
that.
you calculate everything, he could be up to 295 millions, but it will be like 260 millions guaranteed, let's say.
Yeah.
So I heard something that the new date for the contract is 1st August. I really am waiting forward to it. And again, sign the man. We need the man. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
Brown fan, but we need the man. If we want, banner number 18, Brown is your man. I cannot think about the player who would jump into his position right away and makes us better. Maybe one or a couple of guys there, but this is not a realistic scenario. And the people that are talking trade Jaylen Brown for Dame are not normal for a couple of reasons. First of all, he doesn't want to play for Boston. Second of all, Um, he's old, and I don't want our window to be short. And third of all, I'm not sure that trading Dame for Brown is making us significantly better. I really
Well,
am not sure. He's
and
not good defender, right?
yeah, I don't think it does. I mean, like offensively, we'd be better. I think the major place where it would improve Boston is in crunch time play. Dame is a very, very
Mhm.
good closer.
Definitely.
So I think it would
Hmm.
benefit us there. But yeah, I don't. It would give us a very narrow. What would you say? Like maybe 2 year window? Maybe.
Two-year window. Two-year window.
I don't like
Compared
that.
compared to Tatum, Brown, Porzingis can play 5 years, 6 years together, and
Yeah.
potentially win 3 to 4 championships. So no, no to James Harden, no to those guys which are old.
James
Absolutely
Harden thing.
no. Absolutely no. You people are not normal. I mean, James Harden, 6 years ago, yes, for Brown. Right now, absolutely no. Because, I mean, Jaylen Brown is very, very good second option that you cannot find right now in the NBA. Okay, Andy, so we are waiting for Jaylen Brown contract extension. We are happy with Jordan Walsh. We hope that he will play. We hope that the Celtics will get these contract negotiations close to an end, and we hope that after the August 1st, Mr. Brad Stevens will please us and surprise us for gifting us uh, one real NBA player, not NBA player that he's pulling them out of his hat like a rabbit. And for the end, if people are asking me again, what players do you want Mr. Stevens to sign? Again, uh, available free agents: Kendrick Nunn, Ish Smith, point guards. I don't want them. John Wall also. We work him out. Shooting guards: Noel, Diallo, Will Barton, Terence Davis, Javonte Green, Austin Rivers, Romeo Langford. For me, Will Barton, he's old. Javonte Green, maybe. Austin Rivers, maybe. But to think about it, small forwards, Kelly Oubre Jr., yes, absolutely, right now. Terence Ross, why not? Toscano Anderson, Anthony Lamb, all of them are good that can play. Power forwards, PJ Washington, Jeff Green. I don't know. I think Jeff Green is signed somewhere. I must check about. But if he is available, yes. But I think that he signed with some weak team, Jeff Green, for money. Oklahoma or somebody else, or Houston. I think Houston. He signed with Houston. I think Damian Jones Jr., Vincent Gabriel. So PJ Washington there, and maybe Green if he is available. Christian Wood, Biombo, Griffin. So Wood, PJ Washington, Green, Umbre, Ross, Austin Rivers. All of them can play. So you absolutely can sign two players there from the free agency, and you can do one trade for the point guard, right?
Uh, yeah. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm still on the Dillon Wright bandwagon here. I think he could be an easy acquisition from Washington. They're not going to ask for too much in trade, and you're trading for a guy. He's kind of a Marcus Smart type player, to be honest. Good defender, does a little bit of everything. Not really great at any one thing. Not a starting player, but he's a guy who could give you quality point guard minutes off the bench.
Hmm. Kelly Oubre Jr. is perfect if he
Yeah,
can play
Oubre's a
and
good
if
one.
he's healthy. He's perfect replacement for Grant Williams. Pardon, for Grant Williams. Toscano Anderson, maybe. Terence Ross
Yeah.
is good shooter. I would love him. PJ Washington, absolutely bona fide player there. Christian Wood, bona fide player there. Austin Rivers, he can shoot here and there. Not a fan. Will Barton, yes, but he's old. And I'm not
Will
fan of.
Barton would actually. I actually really like
Will Barton.
as a
Yeah,
veteran
definitely.
presence. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like 3 and D guy, why not? I'm not fan of Wall. I would rather play Jordan Walsh, and I would sign a real or trade for the real point guard. That's our or shooting guard, whatever, combo guard. But we need another guard definitely because we don't know if Mazzulla is going to play Peyton Pritchard, right? We don't know what his rotations will be.
Yeah.
You know, we have seven guys rotations, assuming that we will start, let's say, Derek White, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Brown, Tatum, Robert Williams, and Porzingis. You have only from the bench. You have Malcolm Brogdon and you have Al Horford, 7-man rotations. Then Peyton Pritchard, number 8. And from there, I mean, depends. O'Shea, Brissett, who is there? I mean, Cornette in the regular seasons as rotational guy. But definitely, I would like to see some big men like PJ Washington on Christian Wood, Biombo, whatever. Big man, because then you move Horford to power forward spot and rotate him with Porzingis, and you rotate Biombo or Christian Wood with Robert Williams III at the center time. And Robert Williams will be hurt as soon as possible. So this new guy, Christian Wood, Biombo, whomever, he will have plenty of playing time, right?
Yeah. What about TJ McConnell?
TJ McConnell, why not? But I think that he signed somewhere. I will.
Indiana. He's with Indiana.
In Indiana, he's Indiana guard. Yeah. Timothy John McConnell is starting point guard for Indiana. Yeah, maybe to trade Peyton Pritchard, to trade a bunch of picks and somebody else, Daniel Barton, whoever, one of our brilliant
second-round picks, somebody like Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard.
And maybe another low-ranked player to make it work. But TJ McConnell, he's always, he's a high-energy player. We know that. Undersized.
Definitely.
He's not the greatest defender, but he is a good passer. And that's where I think he could really, he doesn't need to shoot a lot. He focuses on making plays for his teammates, and that could be something that would really help us.
Definitely. So to conclude the story, we're waiting on Jaylen Brown to go to sleep. I hope that we provided you the best informations that we could. I really love that we clarified our salary cap status. We are 172.3 million standing at the first apron. We are 10.4 millions below the second apron, which is 182.7 millions. We have only veteran minimum contracts to offer to the people, rookie contracts, of course, and we need to clear some more cap below the first apron in order to get to the mid-level exception, taxpayers mid-level exceptions, and we are tax-paying team because luxury tax threshold is 165 millions and we are 172 millions. And also we clarified about Jaylen Brown negotiations. We hope as soon as it is possible, and that's it. We're waiting then for Brad Stevens to make us happy. I think that there are some players at this list that are shared courtesy of Keith Smith, and I really want to thank the people for watching us at the YouTube. As you can see, Andy and I are preparing for every show. We are not talking nonsense. This is not entertaining show. This is show that is trying to inform you as much as it is possible in an hour. You can watch us longer on the YouTube sometimes, like tonight, but we are trying to give the best informations that we can at the moment. And that's it. right, Andy? So some message for the end.
No, not really. I think you pretty much covered everything.
Okay, so see you next Saturday. Andy and I are wishing you the good night, and go Celtics. Sign Jaylen Brown already. Go Celtics. Sign Jaylen Brown already. Then point guard, for example. Good night. That's it.
Welcome to the Shamrock Sports Talk Show with your hosts, Igor from Serbia, Europe, and Andy Vernon from Concord, New Hampshire. We are about pride, tradition, sweat, tears, victory, and determination of Boston sports. Give us a ring at 512-543-4662. Be sure to download the Try 99 TV app on any smart device and subscribe to In the Zone Sports Talk Television. The cost is $4.95. Thank you in advance for your support. Now, let's get into the Shamrock Sports Talk Show. Hello, and thank you for tuning into the In the Zone Sports Talk Show Network LLC, where you can find the best in sports talk television and radio shows. Mondays, check out the Just Us Sports Talk Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your hosts, Kevin L. Dixon and Dana Clark. Then Tuesday, we have the Stars Talking Cowboys Sports Show from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern with your hosts, Sean Fox, K Boogie, and Cowboys Nikki. And on Wednesday, tune in for the Out the Block Sports Talk Show from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with hosts Robert Lewis, Donna Hainsworth, and Brett Shields. Then meet up with us